laughing.
Sorry.
No, it's just, Quay.
Way.
Kuchachito and gag.
Gag.
Nudawi skijin and water the gag.
Gwynday.
Aha, Iba will the best win nil done a goklu gillow
Natgiladan.
nil na Maui.
And your week with
jail.
What
Notice
does
the enthusiasm there.
that mean in English?
Well, okay, Journey, you interpret like the part you say. So I'd be like, hello.
Then I would say hi back.
Guess what?
And then I say what?
I say, I can speak Maliseet now. Listen to me. And then it's just like, Dunagok girls, like, how are you? And then
I say good, how are you?
and then it's just like, great. Then it's just like, this is fun at the very end.
That's what we both say at the end.
Okay.
Our social action project is entitled Where Do We Stand? It is an awareness campaign with the goal of highlighting members of St. Mary's community and their experiences. We created a 46-minute video interviewing various community members ranging from children to elders. Filming took place over a 4-week timeline with 18 interviews and a day of filming at a park.
Well, a group of 4 social work students from St. Thomas University hope their work brings about some good for the people of St. Mary's First Nation. The young women put together a short documentary film that focuses on some of the long-standing discrimination people have faced growing up on the only First Nation community in the city. The film is called Where Do We Stand? And it's set to premiere next week. I had a chance to sit down in the studio yesterday with 2 of the students, Scholastic Isaiah and Monica Collier. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Where did this idea come from?
We met with our supervisor, Shasta Hitchcock, on the first day of placement, and we were just kind of coming up with ideas, and we seen a CBC short little film called How to Age Gracefully, and that's kind of where we got the idea. And the premise of our project was to talk about identity in St. Mary's and really try to make the community, focus on the community, but target it at the whole Fredericton population as well.
So we did encounter several barriers while completing the project. Since it was such a new project, we did have to work hard in order to gain community support and encourage participants to become involved in the project. So in doing this, we employed social action strategies, and people were sometimes hesitant being filmed, which was understandable. So we had to work hard to build rapport within the community. Furthermore, we weren't familiar with the technology, and the process of actually making the video and producing this video was also challenging for us. And it definitely was out of our comfort zone. So we reached out to experts in the community and in Fredericton in order to address this barrier. And we also had the task of reaching out to political leaders and media outlets, which was a much bigger task than we anticipated. We definitely learned that social action strategies and communication and how we articulate and present the project was a big role in this. And we learned a lot about becoming an ally, coming from a place of not knowing, and providing a platform for community members to share their experiences.
What advice would you give to someone younger in the St. Mary's community who struggles with their identity?
To learn the history, obviously depending on age, and their exposure, but just to learn their history, and that we have so much to be proud of. Our people were resilient and they were kind, but yet very, very powerful. And I think that the fact that we are still survivors now speaks volumes about how powerful and resilient we are.
And what would you like to share about St. Mary's to someone who isn't from the community?
There's a lot of great people in St. Mary's, and if you take the opportunity to get to know a lot of people, it'll break down a lot of the barriers between the non-native and native, worlds, and that we have a lot in common at the end of the day. And being from a First Nations community is certainly unique, but it certainly isn't anything to be ashamed of or afraid of.
Identity is such a significant issue with the St. Mary's community, so we wanted to create a video which illustrates how community members identify themselves. One of the main themes was loss of language. Because of historical reasons, some of the community members could not speak the native language. But it was inspiring to see the young people attempting to restore their Maliseet cultural practices and language.
Are there any other stories? Did you hear any anecdotes that made you think, wow?
Well, there was an elderly woman we interviewed, and she talked about the residential school and how she grew up there. Like, that's all she knew. And now, to see her, she said she doesn't speak the language. She has no idea. She might know a few words, but she has lost her history. And for me, that was a huge eye-opener. It's like, how could someone just go in somebody else's home, take them out, and raise them in a way that they're unfamiliar with, for them to lose their own identity? So that was a huge eye-opener to me, meeting somebody from the residential school.
We hope that this film will provide a diverse snapshot into the St. Mary's First Nations community and offer insight into how community members actively participate in identity formation. We hope that you can all join us on December 9th at 7 p.m. at Chief Harold Xavier Memorial Elementary School in St. Mary's, located at 305 Maliseet Drive. Thank you. We hope to see you there.